Okay, and welcome back to Quickie Reviews. I just saw Superman, and I gotta say, I enjoyed it. I did like it. Now, do I want to say it's the best superhero movie of the year? Of the three superhero movies that I have seen, between Captain America, Thunderbolts, and Superman? I don't know, because I actually did enjoy Thunderbolts. I liked the story, and I liked the characters. I liked how it was done. So I don't know if Superman is better than that. I'd have to go back and rewatch Thunderbolts again and rewatch Superman and see which one I prefer. But it is definitely good. Of the three, those two are definitely my favorites of this year. I didn't really care for Captain America, which is sad because I wanted to like it. But also haven't seen Fantastic Four, so who knows? That might be the better of the superhero movies that I see this year. So let's just get right into the pros and cons. There are going to be some spoilers. I will say that just now. So if you're going to be watching this, I'm gonna put spoilers in it because I am. So, my pros about this, I liked David Corenswet as Superman. I thought he did a very good job. Now, I feel like most of the people who do Superman do a pretty good job. I will say, as much as I did... Now, don't get me wrong, I did like Man of Steel. I might be one of those few people who actually really enjoyed Man of Steel. I liked the different take on Superman there. But, I could never believe Henry Cavill as Clark Kent. And I know with, the way Zack Snyder does his movies and stuff like that, he makes his characters godlike and, these perfect humans. But I feel like at times, if you do it right, Superman is two pieces. Like, Superman is two different things. There's the super part and there's the man part. And the super part is obviously Superman, and then the man part is Clark Kent. And if you can balance those the right way, you can get a good happy balance there. You don't have to be lopsided where one person is, one actor is better as a Superman, another actor is better as Clark Kent. But like Christopher Reeve, I felt like Corenswet did a great job as Clark Kent and Superman. We didn't get to see much of him being Clark Kent and like the Daily Bugle, but I feel like when he wasn't dressed up as Superman and he was just being Clark, you could see that he doesn't have the confidence. He doesn't feel like he is this mighty, all-powerful being from another world. He is just Clark Kent, a kid from Kansas that, he's not 100% sure in what he does. He's not, this all-being God that he thinks he is. He still knows that he makes mistakes. He knows that he's human. And that he knows that he's going to make more mistakes, but he's only going to learn from those mistakes and only try to get better. But Superman, he knows that he is confident in what he can do, and he is not going to stop fighting for the little person. Even the little dog, like there was parts where he is saving dogs and squirrels, which you would think is unnecessary, but it just shows you that Superman trusts he loves everything. He loves every creature that is created. And even the villain, like, he doesn't want to kill anybody. Even his Bizarro self, which I don't know if this was an origin for Bizarro Superman. It does make sense that, Bizarro was cloned originally from Superman, but he was just not given all the smarts, and he's just dumb and ends up becoming disformed and becoming even more unlike Superman, But if that's what they were doing with the clone, then they did a great job. I wish they kind of would have used an actual Ultraman, but at the same time, like, I don't know how well that would have worked. I don't know if I like them using the name Ultraman when really it's just Bizarro. But yeah, I thought he did a great job balancing both of them, making them both feel like different characters, but also the same person at the same time. I also liked the costume. I know it looked a little loose and didn't fit properly and stuff like that, and there was no word of saying that if he got it from his birth parents or if he got it from Ma or Pa Kent. Like, I don't know who gave it to him. Sometimes it's, Ma Kent is the one who made him this suit, or sometimes it's he gets it from his birth parents. Like, I don't know who got it from this one, but I liked the way it looked. I liked, that it popped, the colors blended well. It looked good. Like, I liked how it looked. It didn't look so dark, and maybe I know that's just like the Zack Snyder look of it, but like compared to Man of Steel, this one looked good. You know, you could see the bright red, the bright blue, like you could see it, and it wasn't too blinding. The chemistry between Cornswet and Brosnahan, I thought was really good. I could believe, you know, that they actually liked each other and that they wanted to be in the same area of each other. You know, that when they fought, but they still loved each other to the point where they regretted having that fight. And when they were having that fight with them doing the interview, and you can see that Clark is getting upset and everything, and then Lois realizes that she's like, okay, well, this is why I can't have relationships, because I just cannot connect with another human. And that's, you know, she even says at one point that they are very different from each other. You know, she's just this one girl who listens to punk rock and questions everything. And Superman is this alien from another, you know, planet that trusts everybody. But the thing that also makes them so similar is that they are so different from other people. And that's what I think brings them together and makes them, you know, show their love. Like, you can see she cares for Superman and wants, you know, him to take care of himself, and is just preparing him for everything that will come his way. And obviously he is going to do everything in his power to protect Lois and all of those that he loves. So I love the chemistry that they had going. You know, I could believe that they were dating each other, and that, you know, even with them fighting, they still had that love for each other. Speaking of the cast, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, I thought was, now not to say that no one else in this movie was great, but I thought Luthor was the best. Now, Mr. Terrific was great. I liked Mr. Terrific, and I felt like even James Gunn knew Mr. Terrific was going to be good, because I felt like he got more screen time than most of the other side characters. I felt like he probably got the most prominent role, and he did a great job. It was definitely well worth it, but I enjoyed Lex Luthor in this movie. I liked how they made him this, I don't give a shit about the people at all. I don't care. I am a god to these people, and I am above everybody. And he had no qualms of killing anybody. He makes a joke about killing somebody when he shoots this man who gave Superman free food, like, one time because he saved him, and, like, he's playing Russian roulette with this guy, shoots him in the head and goes, well, I didn't think that was going to go as, didn't think it was going to be this short, but I'll go find someone else to kill tomorrow for you, you know? Like, he did not care. And then the way that he used Ultraman to fight Superman was so video game-like. Like, he was a guy who has been playing this game for years, and he knows the ins and outs and how to win every level. With him just inputting, going like A27 or Z54, like, he just knew all of these inputs off the back of his hand from just watching Superman, and his obsession was just so crazy, you know, like stalker level crazy, but like, I loved how he did it, you know, and his plan was, I thought, was pretty well, you know, making everybody hate Superman to the point where it's like, is Superman just going to give up because he can't find a way to win? Obviously, having friends in good spots and having, you know, not being a dick to everybody helps, you know. That's what mainly his downfall was, being a dick to Miss Tessmacher. But, yeah, I thought Nicholas Hoult did a great job. He definitely was Lex Luthor, and you could feel his assholeness and him being such an evil prick and all that, and I just enjoyed that so much. Action scenes. Now, you know me, I like my action scenes done well, and the one scene that stood out to me was the Mr. Terrific scene. I thought was done really well. It was almost, I don't know if it actually was a one-take shot, but it looked like it, and like, you got to see what was going on from Lois's point of view. Then going back out to watching the fight, then you get like where Lois is in the shot along with all the fighting in the background, and it was just done so well. There isn't chopped up to the pieces where you can't see what is actually going on. You can see everything, and you see even parts that you're not even supposed to focus on, but you see like there's one guy holding one of the metal spears, and it's just shocking the fuck out of him, and like, I like that. I want to see stuff that I'm not even supposed to pay attention to. I don't want the main focus just on the people who are actually in, like, the main character. I want to see those side characters doing something like that, or getting attacked by the spear, in the corner of the background. I want to see all of it together, and I like that. I like the action scene with the kaiju. You know, Superman's doing everything in his power to try and save this thing and not kill it, while the other three of the Justice Crew / Justice League, you know, whatever they wanted to call themselves, were doing everything in their power to try and kill it, while Superman's doing the opposite, fighting it and just trying to keep it alive and try and get it out of here. So there was a lot of good action scenes. I liked what they did with everything. It looked good. I didn't feel like we were getting cheated on it. You know, the fight in the baseball field with, you know, Ultraman and Engineer, I thought that was also good. A great idea from Superman to fly up to the sun, basically. Not to basically burn them, but get more energy, and knowing that they aren't going to be able to do it up there. Even with Ultraman being a copy of him, he's not a full Kryptonian, and he's not getting powered from that sun. And knowing coming straight down super fast that, you know, they might not be able to take it, or if they can't take it, they're not going to be up for much of later of a fight. So I liked that Superman was thinking somewhat out of the box at times too, and using his strengths to when he can use them. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that very much. And then also, side one, it's not a big pro or anything, but I loved Krypto. I'm a dog person, so like that made it even better, because my dogs remind me of Krypto so much with how sassy they are and how sassy Krypto was, and I loved it. I loved how he wasn't trying to be the worst dog in the world. He just wasn't properly trained, you know? He's a baby. He's just a baby. He's just a baby. And I love that very much. Now, the cons, speaking of Krypto, we did get Supergirl in this movie, and I don't really know if I like how they made her this drunk party girl. I mean, she is a superhero too, and like, she's supposed to be supposed to be Superman's older cousin, but obviously getting here later delayed her, you know, spaces, and obviously Clark grew up faster. But like, I get her, you know, wanting to have fun and being funny and stuff like that, but I feel like they just kind of made her like a complete joke. And I don't know if I like that. Obviously, you know, being so used to seeing the Supergirl show and seeing her like that, you know, obviously it's a little different take, but maybe seeing her in her own movie will change my mind on that. But at the moment, I didn't really care for that part. I feel like there was too much going on in this movie for the short runtime. Maybe if it was a little bit longer, it wouldn't have felt like everything was cramped in and had to go super fast and like to get it all done. Like the opening text part of it, I did not like, because we didn't get to see all of these things that they're telling us. I want to see those. Even if it's like a short few seconds, I want to see that. I don't want to read that. Like, those would be so much more interesting to see than seeing, you know, text scroll in the middle of the Antarctic or wherever the Solitude Fortress is, you know? Like, I don't want to read that stuff. I want to see this stuff. And, like, if you had more time to let it breathe and gave it a little bit of a longer runtime, maybe we could have seen all those parts. Because there are times it's like we're in this scene, then all of a sudden, boom, we're into this scene, and then boom, we're into this scene. Like, it just felt like scenes were shot at points and then like pushed together, and like I don't know, it just felt like it was very rushed, and I don't know if I cared for that too much. And then it felt like this was the second part of like a trilogy. This wasn't the first movie of something. It felt like we already should have, like, almost like this was like the Avengers before we got Iron Man, you know? We're supposed to know who all these characters are, know why there's, you know, who their stories are. We're supposed to know who Hawk Woman or Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, Lex Luthor. Like, we're supposed to know all of these characters and why their motivations are the way they are and why they're doing what they're doing and all of this. I get not showing Superman's origin because we've seen it in multiple movies. That's fine. But, like, it just feels like all of these other characters were introduced in the first Superman movie, and now they're coming back in this one, so you don't really need to know, you know, because you've already seen the first one. Like, that's what it felt like. And I don't know. And it also made it seem like some characters were just completely useless. Like, at times I felt like Lois just wasn't used to her full potential. She, you know, like, obviously, like, at the end, she was able to do some stuff, but, like, they almost made her like OP just to get the story done. Like now she knows how to fly the ship. Yes, Mr. Terrific said it's very simple, but still, like you should still have a rough time. And like I know she does struggle getting it off, but then once she fixes that within a matter of seconds, she's able to fly that ship off and save everybody at the Daily Planet. And then like Hawkgirl, it felt like they hardly used her. She was there for the fighting scenes and just was in the background when they were at the Hall of Justice, and like that was it. It didn't seem like she played much of a role. And then Metamorpho was kind of just there to help Superman get out of jail, and that was about it. Like it just, I don't know. It seemed like they put side characters to the side and forgot they were there and be like, oh yeah, let's just throw them in the scene. Like they just felt like they didn't need to be there. You could have made two characters into one character almost. And then some of the jokes just didn't land, I didn't think. Some of the jokes just weren't funny. In my theater, I think there was maybe like 3 jokes total that people laughed at, and that was about it. Like nobody really laughed at many of them, unfortunately. So I mean, most of the time James Gunn's pretty good about his jokes, and like they do land, but just in this movie for some reason some of them felt forced. Some of them, it felt like they were really trying to make them funny, and it just didn't work. But overall, I still like this movie. I still think it was a good movie. Definitely a good Superman movie. It's been a while since I've seen the original, so I can't say it's the best Superman movie. But of the ones that I have seen in recent times, I would say it's definitely the best one, And so I'm going to give this one a B-. Obviously, some things I could fix, some things I really enjoyed. But yes, overall, I still liked it. And at the moment, it's kind of hovering at number 2 for my favorite superhero movies. Easily could change with Fantastic Four. Maybe another rewatch will change. But yeah, that's where I'm going to have it. B- and possibly number 2. But yeah, and that's all I got. So I'll see you in the next one. I think the next movie I'm seeing is I Know What You Did Last Summer, so we'll see how that movie is. I don't really have any anticipation for that. So, yeah, have a good one.